So let's talk about the relationship between, for example, certification and a competency. Well, as we know, there's a difference between knowledge and competency or performance. So in other words, you can have particular knowledge on an area, and you may also be able to pass a certification exam. Beyond that, there's a level of performance that's required in order to conduct the activities of that particular certification. So certifications are a great way of establishing a baseline level of knowledge. And certainly, as we know, going beyond that to applying the application of those skills on a day-to-day basis is a great way to really demonstrate both the professional as well as personal competencies in that particular role. So let's talk about some of the relevant certifications in the field of project management. As we know, organizations such as PMI or the Scrum Alliance, for example, have various certifications. And from PMI standpoint, some of the more popular certifications are the PMP. Those are for project management practitioners. There's also program portfolio level certifications. And of course, we talked about Scrum Alliance. They have certifications for Scrum Masters and product owners and also other Scrum professionals. And there are other coaching institutes that help define or certify coaches in order to be effective coaches. All these various organizations are very beneficial for the development of practitioners, and they help define a level of baseline knowledge that you as a practitioner can use to kind of assess your competency, at least against a set of knowledge, defined knowledge. And of course, beyond that is the application, and that's you start to get into the performance management around applying various competencies in order to effectively do the job on a day-to-day basis, regardless if that's a traditional project manager or an agile practitioner. And so one of the questions we often get are soft skills part of the certification? And to a certain degree, yes. Whether or not it's a project management certification or something more an agile practitioner, certainly coaching roles, there are certain soft skills that are required of practitioners in order to be effective. Now, again, there is a difference between having knowledge and passing an exam and practicing these particular competencies on a day-to-day basis. It's really important to be able to then demonstrate the competencies in order to effectively, grow or display a level of performance that's relevant to the particular role. How do you know whether or not you want to go for a certification? Well, there's a lot of debate in the industry today about certifications. People have their own perceptions on what certifications are and the value associated with it. One of the things that I think practitioners that have been certified can agree on is that there is an established baseline knowledge that you are required to demonstrate, at least on an exam. And so from that standpoint, you're able to, one, define it in the application for the exam. There are certain certifications, such as the PMP, that requires a level of experience to take that exam. You can't just take certain certification exams without any experience. Of course, other certifications, the rigor behind those requirements might be a little less. So in some cases, that holding that certification may not fully demonstrate a lot of experience in that particular area. Nonetheless, if you are on the path to certification and you really want to demonstrate your knowledge, having the experience and then going for the exam and getting certified is a really great way to not only develop your competencies, but also demonstrate them in terms of knowledge on these particular certification exams. Does it make a difference to employers in whether or not you have a certification? I think that really comes down to the various employers. When I'm hiring a PM or a Scrum Master, a product owner, I want them to be able to demonstrate a competency. It's not so much a certification, though a certification demonstrates a level of commitment, a level of accountability, a level of responsibility that this particular practitioner went out, put the time in, and were able to successfully pass a particular exam. Now, with that said, it's also important that they are able to demonstrate particular competencies. If it's project management, I want to be able to have them demonstrate to me the various competencies that a project manager would have, or a program manager or portfolio manager. And the same holds true on an Agile side. If you've been a product owner, what does it mean to rank a backlog? What does it mean to structure a user story? Having that understanding is really important. As a Scrum Master, what does it mean to be a coach, and how can you be an effective coach? Not all practitioners are at the same level, and that's completely okay. But it is good, regardless of what level you're at, to be able to demonstrate competencies. And if you happen to have a certification, then if it comes down to looking at two candidates that might be equal in all other sense, if one person has, taken the time to commit themselves to a particular certification, a lot of times that particular candidate will get the nod.